at the suggestion of a realtor, did a check on my credit. I just went to Credit Karma. I didn't know what else to do. He's like, try Credit Karma. I was like, all right. And then the Credit Karma gave me scores, I guess, from 2 different credit checking agencies, and one was 668 and the other was 630. And like the first one was described as fair and the other was described as poor. I was like, what? How can this be? You know, when I pay my student loans, you know, I'm not in debt other than that, and I'm paying that off every month the way I'm supposed to. But I guess the deal is you actually have, like, having no credit. I don't really have a credit history at all, right? Because I've never had a credit card, because I've never, you know. And so I was like, and so finally, I just like thinking about this and just being incredulous about it for a few weeks. I broke down and I'm like, all right, well, you gotta be kidding me. Here I am, I'm gonna be in a shelter, in a homeless shelter. I have to get a credit card. I have no other way of doing things to like build up my credit at all. So I got one. Like, I went online. I just kind of found a website that will take your information, do a quick credit check, and then match you with offers from like credit card agencies. And I took the offer that had no annual fee, right? And so now I have a credit card. I mean, how ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is it? I'm in a homeless shelter. You know, my money is all from the government. You know, it's not quite. How much is it? It's not quite $800 a month. No, it's not quite $800 a month. You know, that I pay my phone bill, I pay my storage bill, I pay my student loans, I pay for transportation, you know, I pay for the gym membership that I still haven't gone to because I'm scared they're going to videotape me in the bathroom, you know, that stuff. And I'm trying to, and I have an automatic debit of $35 a month from the checking account to a savings account that I started a few months ago, and I'm trying to build up the balance in that to be over $200, because if it's not over $200, then you get charged maintenance for the savings account. I was like, all right, well, you get 4 months to build your savings account up to over $200. Right, and then once that 4 months passes, after you first got the savings account, if you still don't have more than $200, you know, an average daily balance of $200 in the bank account, then they start charging a monthly maintenance fee, right? So yeah, but I figured it was, and you don't really get a lot of interest on it, but they have like a little rewards program where, you know, if you meet your goal of how much you're trying to save every month, you can, after a certain amount of time, you can get like, you know, little discounts at various stores, that kind of thing. I was like, all right, well, at least it'll be a good exercise. It'll be good for me to help me just kind of learn the habit of saving money. Even though I know I'm not really going to get any interest on this, at least I try not to just spend that money in the savings account, because I think I have the habit. I think a lot of people probably do that if you have a little bit of money and you don't have a definite expense have it set aside for a definite expense that you know you're going to have, you know, it's very hard to not spend it on just the few dollars here, the few dollars there for stuff that you like. 36G G72 just for stuff. It's a little bit fun, you know. I mean, for me, my weakness tends to be food. It tends to be food, like just stuff that I like, you know. I mean, and again, I'm in my food situation. My food situation is not bad. I mean, it's not like I'm never going to go hungry. I'm not. You know, they give you breakfast and they give you dinner at the Pine Street Inn, and then on Sunday they also give you lunch. They're only open in the day during on Sunday, usually. I mean, if it's bad weather out, you know, or if you're old or you're sick, that kind of thing, they'll usually let you stay in for the day. But I'm usually out at least 6 days a week, right? So, anyway, yeah, and there's always enough food. There tends to be a lot of dessert. People, especially like volunteers and stuff, will, like, you know, they want to bring dessert for like homeless people, or like stores and stuff will donate stuff. I mean, there tends to be quite a lot of dessert actually. And then the food is definitely edible. It's you know, it's not bad. It really isn't. And then some places, like On the Rise has people who they are set up with this is there's this organization called Community Cooks, which is I think they do they get people who like to cook for various things, right? So I mean, I think On the Rise is just one of the charities that probably gets deliveries from this organization, Community Cooks, which get people who probably they do like to cook, they like to cook large amounts. They both don't have a reason to cook large amounts much of the time. They don't like give big parties every week or anything, and also are not interested in like actually running a business, but they like to cook large amounts once a week or every couple of weeks or something. And so they really like to cook, and they like to do things that are helpful to other people. So they make this great food, and then it gets dropped off for us, and we get to eat it. So it kind of works out for everybody. So it's actually a really nice organization. I mean, I do get angry. I get angry about the things about being homeless that are not only difficult on their own, but the way there's still that attitude of like it's really all right to treat homeless people any way you want to. But I'm also not. But I've also never been anywhere. Although no, I've never been homeless anywhere except here in Vermont. I've never been anywhere that had more services for homeless people. I mean, in Vermont, there's almost nothing, which I think may in fact be deliberate because they just don't want homeless people around. But if you think about Burlington, which is it's definitely not a big city. I don't think it doesn't even have close to 100,000 people. I don't think, and yet they're homeless shelters. I mean, I don't even know if they can get 100 people into the homeless shelters. Right? I don't think there's room for them. Like there's one place called Cots. I think it might have 30 beds. Both male and female together. There's still and I think there's maybe a couple other places. It's not adequately set up at all. In a place like Boston, I'm sure there are other cities that do not have the services that Boston has. I mean, there's just a ton of places. There's overnight shelters, there's day shelters. Again, the Pine Tree Inn is the cleanest, it's definitely the safest, it's definitely the best organized. The stuff that I talk about that's problematic is definitely problematic. I mean, the way the homeless people are treated, like on a personal level most of the time, is really pretty terrible, right? And I think that the day shelters have tended to try to do something about that. I mean, I think it's their purpose to give homeless people like a place to be where they're not going to be just screamed at all the time. And again, I mean, at the Pine Tree, there are staff who are better, there are staff who are worse. Overall, so now I've had all these subjects that I was thinking about at one time. It's relevant, because there's always that issue that comes up too, in terms of the money that I get and how I'm spending it and what I'm dealing with it. And so I will say, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to like have the money in my account, know that I should save and save and save and save and save. And yet, it's pretty harsh. It's a pretty harsh way of life to be homeless, And so those little things that you might want to be able to do, buy, however, whatever it is, it's hard to say no to them like every day. And I can feel myself struggling with that every day. God, I so hate this ad. I so absolutely entirely hate that ad. I don't even know how many more times I'm going to have to say it. Obviously, my saying it has had just no effect whatsoever on the people who created it. I hate that ad. I absolutely hate that ad. I hate the sight of that girl's face. I just can't, obviously people who create these ads, they don't care about anything that I say about how it makes me feel or any of that stuff, or how I have to walk through and see all this stuff all this time. Thanks for just making my daily life that much harder every single day, right? Until whatever it is, until you think of another ad to put right next to it, right, in the same station, Broadway station, just to make it worse. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, it's tough to do that. But I've been trying to put money aside, and what I didn't even realize what it was going to be like at the beginning. At the beginning, I was just like, no, I have to save money. There are these times when it would really be helpful to have $50, $20, $100, and I see that, and I don't have it. So these crises happen, or things that are, something that could prevent a crisis if I had just that amount of money, and then I can't do anything about it, and then I miss out on something, or something I can't do, or whatever it is. But I hadn't really thought about what it was going to be like if I managed to just say no to myself all day long sometimes about like little things that I want to get. Just like Starbucks tends to be kind of a weakness for me. They have a few drinks that I really like. I don't buy the ones that really upset me. You know, these things that they think of. Didn't I just see this? I just saw this fire engine going the other way. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. And now it's turning around again. So it would seem. Just one big circle? Yeah. So anyway. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So Starbucks, you know, I get really angry, something to do. I avoid them for a while, you know, and then if I'm gonna go back there, I will just, you know, not buy whatever it is that they created that upset me, right? So I just it's kind of how I deal with it. Yeah, boycotting I think is probably a pretty effective tactic. But the thing is with the conglomerate that things are so bad, and there's so many corporations that are involved in promoting the conglomerate's agenda. Things that people need, like I mean, Citizens Bank. There's my bank, you know. I talked about this like a couple years ago when I got the bank account. I was like, you know, but I have to have a bank account. They're doing things that I don't like, but I have to have a bank account. I can't do that one, you know. And so, yeah, I always hope. You hope that just the moral arguments that you make will eventually just get through to them, and they'll realize, yes, we're doing something wrong, and we don't really have to have, you know, a real penalty of some kind to just get to a financial penalty or something like that, to just get to the conclusion we shouldn't be doing these things anymore. I keep hoping for that to happen, you know, in sort of all sorts of situations, and it can be very discouraging. It's very disheartening to see like how many people really actually have to have something happen to them that's painful in some way. You know, a hit to the wallet, or something else along those lines. Public embarrassment. I don't know. For them to, they're so low on empathy. You know, they're so low on empathy. They're so low on, I guess, just morality and they don't ever think about it. They don't really think about. They don't really care how what they do affects other people, as long as it never gets back around to, you know, cause them any kind of problem. And it's only when it causes them some kind of problem that they can see, other than it turning them into a bad person, that they sort of care about it at all. And that's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to deal with people who just don't care that they're doing something wrong. That is very, very frustrating. So anyway, and I know, and then so I really, you know, I've been trying for the past several months to just curb that habit that I have of just like the buying the little things here and there. I mean, the other things, it's not like I'm not paying my bills first. I do that first. You know, I mean, I set aside all the money that I need just for the stuff that I have to do. You know, pay my bills, and then there's some stuff left over. And then it's like, it's a question of, well, you know, what do I do with it? You know, just leaving it there when, you know, you're sad, depressed, angry, frustrated, feel, you know, disrespected all the time, and you just kind of want to sit somewhere and not, you know, just feel better, you know, feel better. It's hard. It's hard not to spend the money on like those times, right? Anyway, I think the limit for videos that you can upload to YouTube might take maybe 15 minutes, so I'll stop this video. I'm just